Why do I feel like I've gotten taller? Am I always this height? Thanks for the hearts, whoever that is. Welcome in. Let's turn the fan on while we wait for people. Get some airflow in here. Hey, Hugh. Welcome back. You're usually like the first one, which is really cool. What you up to today? Matthias, hi. Ismail, hi. Backboras? Hello. So already we've had 3 votes. Do you have self-destructive tendencies? And all 3 have said yes. I can definitely relate to that. Hold on. Sorry about that earlier too. Yeah. Put it with third party. Those won't let us do it. Sorry, guys. You guys fell. Yeah, the topic is bring your baggage. Let's talk about it because I go through this stuff all the time. I've had self-destructive tendencies ever since I was probably like 13, I would say. So, I don't know. I just want to talk about it. I want to figure out what you guys do to cope with stuff, share how I cope with stuff because sometimes I don't cope very well and I end up doing pretty crazy things that usually cause a backlash. Hey, Brayden. Happy anniversary. Hey, Raw. Cristobal Garcia. Hey R, thank you for the reaching out earlier. I appreciate it. But yeah, 9 votes so far. Do you have self-destructive tendencies? 67% yes, 20% no, and then 10% very rarely. I'm turning 11 May 15th. Oh wow, well happy early birthday. About 2 more weeks to go. Sorry, my phone was buzzing. You guys fell over. But yeah, to start off with, I was just curious. I don't know how many people watched my last stream, but you guys saw me in a pretty messed up, self-destructive state, which I go through often. I always have. There's different ways I deal with it. Most of them pretty much seem very abnormal, or how do I put it? I just don't feel like a lot of other people kind of cope the same ways that I do. Like, I don't know if you guys do this, but I love music. But the difference is I don't just like listen to a playlist or listen to the radio. I will basically listen to one song over and over and over again. I find like a song that invokes a specific like emotion, and I will literally play that song on repeat. If I'm alone, I'll play it on repeat for 2 or 3 hours. If I'm around other people, sometimes I don't get to listen to it on repeat because then they look at me, they're like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, play something else. But that is one way I kind of ground myself to a specific emotion, is by finding a song that invokes whatever feeling, whether it's being energetic or being, sad to release negativity. Whatever it is, I will just listen to that song over and over and over again and just sit in whatever emotion I'm trying to have. And that's honestly very helpful to me, I feel like, because I'm able to grab onto an emotion and like hold on to it until I get what I need from it, and then I can move on. Yeah, what happened? It's normal, it gets better. Weed helps me. Yeah, that's normal. You can get hung up on how a song makes you feel. Yeah, and I normally realize it's usually like older songs, like songs I grew up with. Let's see. As far as what happened the other night, it wasn't specifically anything that happened, and that's like the difficult part of it. Sometimes it's just like the daily buildup of the daily grind. And if I miss out on sleep at all, or sometimes I'll have unhealthy like eating habits, like I won't eat anything, or I'll drink like, too many energy drinks to try to like stay energized or feel a certain way. And when I do stuff like that, not getting enough sleep or not decompressing on a daily, it basically builds up to a point where I completely lose my mind. And yeah, and then I end up doing really crazy stuff. Usually it used to take the form of like alcohol. By the time I was 16, I was a full-blown alcoholic, actually. Like, I actually had to get sent to a mental institution for alcoholism at age 16. And the reason it was a mental institution and not a rehab is because in the state of North Carolina, they don't have rehabs for like people under 18. So that was a big coping mechanism I had when I was, a teenager. Is I was a straight up alcoholic. I would drink every day before I would go to school. I would bring water bottles full of vodka to school, and because of that, I got in a lot of trouble. I got kicked out of two different high schools, and I even got, yeah, it was a lot. So definitely don't drink anymore. And if I ever do drink, it's all coming from a self-destructive place. It's all coming from, I can't do anything to fix anything, so I'm going to drink and I'm going to go meet people and act stupid and act crazy and just completely forget about every responsibility I have. Like, let me just go walk down the road drunk as hell, go to 5 different bars and just see what happens. Which obviously Usually you don't end up in a good place at the end of the night. If we resort to materialistic solutions to heal our souls, they will even harm our bodies, such as alcohol, weed. In my opinion, we should try to solve the problem in our own mind. I definitely relate to that. I agree with that 100%. I don't use alcohol to cope anymore. I do use marijuana to cope. I also have been known to take like medications such as whether I'm self prescribing them or if they're prescribed from a doctor. However, I don't enjoy handling my life that way. I don't like having to smoke. I don't like having to take like SSRIs and stuff like that because I want to be able to be in control of myself without medications, you know? Even if you're diagnosed, like, this is just my personal standpoint. Um, I have been like diagnosed with depression, and I'm not someone that denies that, medication can help somebody, but it's more or less, I feel for me that I do not need those things, and I would prefer to find a way to overcome that without having to resort to lifelong medication. But the tricky part is I don't know if that's just me trying to be healthy or if that's just my self-destructive behavior trying to get me off medication. So it's tricky. You got kicked out of Boy Scout for eating brownies. And when we cannot solve them, we should not numb our brains. Agreed. Sometimes it's hard for me. Um, Sometimes if I'm not jumping to something to make me feel better, I get stuck. That's another thing. I tend to cope is I get stuck. Like I just sit somewhere and I think about everything and I try to think how to solve it. And what happens is I end up sitting in a room staring at a wall for 2 or 3 hours with no music on, no television, nobody around, literally just sitting in a room. And I'll actually get so stuck in my mind that I'll sit in a weird position and not move the entire time. So that's something else I'm trying to overcome too. And the way that I do that usually is through trying to stay busy. 50 states you have to be 18 to go to rehab. I didn't know that. I cry too much, feels better. Yeah, sometimes, like I was saying earlier, I will listen to sad music to basically force myself to cry. And I kind of use that as a release because normally after you cry, you feel better. But that's a slippery slope too, because if you focus too hard on that or do it too often, you actually end up sad. So this is why I was kind of just bringing this to you guys to see how you guys cope on a daily basis. Um, because it's something that nobody really talks about, but we all have to do it. It's kind of like taking a shit. None of us really want to talk about how we cope with life, but it's something we all have to do every day. I spend a few hours a day just thinking, and I'm nearly always walking while I do it. That's another good point I wanted to put out. That's one of my other coping mechanisms is actually walking. I prefer to walk like in the woods or at like a national park or something because there's several around me. but sometimes I'll just walk down the road. I'll walk down the highway. And yeah, sometimes I can't do it as much because it tends to happen for me when I think a lot. And the reflection, it usually comes late at night. So sometimes I don't want to go walking down the highway at like, 2 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, walking definitely helps a lot. I need to do it more. So it being summer coming up and everything, getting more outdoorsy based, I'm going to have to focus on doing that 10 times more than what I'm doing now. Go golfing this summer. I'm even walking in home currently. I do that often when I can't go out and walk. I'll actually pace around the house and clean stuff. I'll pace from room to room, just doing whatever I see needs to be done. Thinking is good. It empowers people, enables them to synthesize more information. And if thought from the right angle, it also enables the solution of existing and super problems. Agreed. Definitely agreed. But like I said, though, me personally, I have to be careful. And I think maybe the solution that you're talking about is walking while you're doing it is the best solution. Because, like I said, for me, if I sit somewhere and think, I get stuck. I literally get stuck. I will sit in the same spot all night. So I have to pace if I can't go out and walk. So that's a good idea. That's something good to remember, that I don't do it a lot anymore. I don't really get stuck anymore because I'm always standing. But that's why I'm always standing and why I'm always pacing, because if I sit, I literally just get stuck. You have such a look at naturally. Thank you. Hey, Pickles. I missed you, Pickles. I hope you're doing good. It's like confidence wrapped in kindness. But yeah, thank you. Thank you. Um, yeah, the kindness is definitely natural. Definitely natural. I've always been that way. So thank you. Well, Pickles, you are special. You are. Sitting down represents giving up, and standing up represents combat. And that's why I wanted to talk to you guys about this, because that is a really good way to look at it. Sitting down basically physically does represent giving up. And that's why when I sit down and contemplate and think, I usually end up getting stuck. Whereas if you're on the move, you're kind of being productive and you're keeping the ball rolling instead of it just sitting in one spot. So I really like that. Now I'm seeking your approval. Pickles. You already have my approval, I promise. Dog, hey. Hey, dog. Hey, Jens. My problem is I can't find what I'm looking for because I do not know what it is that I'm looking for. I don't trust people and I don't trust myself. Um, my viewpoint on that is deep down, like deep down, I probably wouldn't trust people either, but the way that I look at it is it's worth getting let down or being lied to just for the possibility of finding someone that contributes to what you already have going on. And if you don't know what you're looking for, you kind of just have to throw yourself out there and basically risk everything. It's not guaranteed to work. You might end up with nothing. You might end up losing something you already have. But whenever I feel that way, dog, I just take a huge risk and I just kind of jump in for it, whether that be starting a relationship, finding a new job, packing all my bags, breaking a lease, and completely moving to like another place. But that is interesting. You can't find what you're looking for because you don't know what you're looking for. That is complex. I wasn't planning to stay long on this live, but your presence changed everything. There's something about you. That's sweet. Thank you. I have my moments where I'm not like this, but everyone has their moments. Sometimes antidepressant meds can become addictive. Yeah, in general, I don't deny that medication is a good thing that some people need. It's just for me personally, even if I'm diagnosed with this, that, and the other, I want to be able to live without having to take those medications. But like I said, I don't know if that is the disease talking or if that's just me, trying to stay off medication and be healthy. I don't like myself and I was never loved. That's a deep one. That is a deep one. I think we all kind of feel that way, and I feel like we all kind of missed out on love from somewhere, whether it be that person in high school that didn't work out the way you thought it would be, or with your parents, with your family, or maybe you just don't make connections with people. I can relate to that. And it usually always comes back to not loving yourself. So that's a tough one. That is definitely a tough one. Moreover, it's not certain that all people are trustworthy or untrustworthy. It varies greatly from person to person. So perhaps trusting or not trusting should not be our problem. I agree. I can see where you're coming from with that. Like I said, when I when I find someone that I like or I want to have an interest in, sometimes I'll hear people say, "Hey, like, don't mess with them. You can't trust them. They're this, they're that." And maybe they are right. However, I always look at it as you have to take a chance and you have to allow someone the power to completely lie to you and completely go behind your back. And it sounds crazy, but you have to be open like that so that the good ones can get in. Because if you're just closed off to everybody, then when someone genuine comes around, you're not even giving them the chance to do anything good or anything bad. And it's basically like the bad is always going to come. So you have to be open to it so that the good can come in too. Because if you're overprotective of yourself, you're not going to get any, you're still going to get the bad, but you're not going to let any good in either. So that's kind of how I view trust. It's always given, and even if they mess it up 100 times, it's still something that you should always give. Now, if it becomes too much and you don't like this person, yeah, kick them out. You know what I mean? Like, don't deal with it. But kind of back to what he was saying, trusting or not trusting really doesn't have anything to do with me. It's a really good point. I've never really thought of it that way. I've always thought you're going to get my trust if you deserve it or not, because that's just what I give, you know? I'm going to give you the opportunity to pull out the knife behind my back, but I'm willing to take that risk to try and get the good that comes with that or comes with you. Love from Iraq, love from America. Thank you for being up here. That's some really sweet, deep stuff. I'm glad you found me. Thank you, R. People like me because I'm nice. I do not know how to love. Kind of reminds me of someone I know too. But that's yeah. People are drawn to you, but you don't know how to love. In my opinion, we make the mistake of looking for happiness in the attitude of others towards us. When I stopped looking for approval from others, I started to become much more successful and life went the way I wanted to. I mean, everyone knows this, but it's pretty much kind of like not having any, God, what's the word for it? Not expecting anything from anyone. Because I feel like, especially with relationships, you kind of envision like this, this checklist or this like Disney fantasy from a person, and you're really selling yourself short because you're setting yourself up to being disappointed. So the way that I kind of go about that is kind of the same thing with the trust. I don't have any expectations and I take the bad with the good. And I try not to expect that someone's going to be a certain way or do something, because then you're setting yourself up to be disappointed. So when it comes to that, when it comes to opening yourself up to love somebody, I feel like first you kind of have to get your fantasy, in check, I guess, for me personally, anyways, because I'm not gonna lie, I can talk to you guys right now and envision you guys in my mind of us hanging out and what that would be like, and what I would want to do, what I would want to talk about, what your guys' interests are, if that would coexist with mine. But instead of overthinking that and be like, well, this person doesn't check that, this person doesn't check this, I kind of just let it stay open and just take in whatever I can. No, I don't speak Arabic. You can give great advice, but I can't follow it. That is common. Friends mostly let you down at some point. Um, Dog, maybe that's because you are so nice and you are so friendly, and it's really hard for you to find someone on the same level. So you're constantly being left maybe disappointed because you are, like, I mean, just from me knowing you, I mean, you really look out for me, you really develop a bond and a friendship, and you kind of put your whole self into it, and that's what makes you so, like, appealing and, like, and nice and kind and all that good stuff. And I just wonder, Pickles, you're in North Korea? How is Kim? Let's see what the poll says. So 55% yes, has self-destructive tendencies, 35% had no, and 10% very rarely. So the majority of us have self-destructive tendencies, which was kind of what I was thinking. You're appealing to me. Am I appealing? Are you appealing to me? Yeah, you've always been appealing to me. Hey, Shannon. I'm very loyal, but that only gets you so far, right? Like I said, I don't have the answers to everything. I'm definitely not a relationship expert by any means. There's a lot that I do wrong, but I just try to stay really open with everyone and everything, and I just don't expect much from anyone. So that way, whatever I'm getting from you, I'm not taking it for granted, if that makes sense. For example, with you, dog, I don't expect you, to check up on me every day. But when you do, and I'm not expecting it, it's like the greatest surprise in the world every day. But yeah, I don't have all the answers, but I can speculate. I would still hide you in the floor beds of my car, and I would go along with that for you. I would go along with that. It's fun to play hide and seek sometimes. Guys, I don't have WhatsApp. So, what's some pickles, for example? What's some coping mechanisms that you have? Genuinely curious. I know we're funny, and I know you're a goofy guy, but really, what do you do to cope? Shannon, I would not hide you, I would show you off. Thank you. Ahmed, how do you know I have cookies? How do you know I have cookies? Because I do. I have cookies. I do. I have cookies. I have oatmeal raisin chocolate chip. How did you know I have cookies? I see a lot of life struggles in you. You are the sister I never had. Thank you, dog. I really mean it. Like, I don't know what you guys are used to or what other people do up here, but I really have a connection with all of you guys that are in here, all of you. You know, it's a lot of bonding that goes on between us on a daily, and that's why I try to come up here daily because I don't want it to go away, you know? I have cookies too, but I'm too far to send them. My life struggles. Thank you for the subscribe. Well, dog, I'm here for you. I really am. We have a lot in common. You're just a little further up north, that's all. How do I cope with that? What with what color panties I'm wearing? Um, Maybe to cope with that, maybe you should get on Victoria's Secret and go look through their 5 panties for $30 sale and find some that you like and get them for your girlfriend. That'd be a good way to cope with that. Is imagine what kind you like, texture, pattern, fit, and just throw 5 of them in a cart and then just order them and give them to a surprise for your girlfriend. That'd be a good way to cope with it. Everyone encounters people like themselves, sometimes good, sometimes bad, but most of us have common points. That is true. We all have something in common. And usually, to me, that's the greatest thing about communication is that there's always a way to connect with somebody if we just try, you know? And I think that's why I enjoy doing this and I enjoy working the type of job that I have because I get to do that on a daily. Tell my name, Ayan. My boyfriend does not wear panties. You have a boyfriend, dog? I didn't know that. Do you want him to? Nothing wrong with that. I'm just genuinely curious. Do you want your boyfriend to wear panties? And he's just like, hell no, I'm not doing that. There might have been once or twice in the early stages of me and Chevy's relationship that I made him throw on a skirt just for a couple of minutes. I don't know. Just having fun. In the USA, 17 is an adult in 7 states: Colorado, Louisiana. Oh, he only wears them on Tuesdays? So that's the panty day is Tuesday? I know a lot of guys that are into that kind of stuff, and a lot of them aren't. They're not like. I don't know. I've definitely come across a lot of guys, a lot of men that enjoy that. So 17 in Mexico. Show you outside. All right, I'll show you outside real quick. I'm not gonna go out there. I have to stay in here, but that's outside. Lots of trees. It's partly cloudy. It's pretty warm today. We're getting ready for summertime. Getting ready for summertime here in the south. My roommate's boyfriend wears panties too. But he likes to keep it a secret sometimes. Unless like you're friends with him, of course. But he's never up here, so I can kind of say that. And you guys won't tell on me. The guy in the green shirt is up to something. Let's see. Maybe. Maybe. He ate my cookie earlier, so maybe he wants another one. Well, I live in UAE. There is night. Yeah, so for you it's probably like what, 2 o'clock in the morning? Like your smile. Thank you. I got it from my mom. Me and her both have bunny teeth, and my dad has like these perfect, like straight, like excellent, like teeth, but I just didn't get those. I got the rounded ones. 2:30 a.m. Yeah, I thought it was something like that. It's 7:34 here. Um, Another thing I just wanted to say is a lot of you guys already know what I have going on with my dad. How basically my dad and my mom, I don't have any type of relationship with, even though they lived literally 10 minutes down the road from where I'm at now. They're just not interested. They can't take it. And I get really angry about that sometimes, and I talk a lot of shit about them, but it's just because I'm hurting over it. But I really do respect where they're coming from. I'm not saying I completely understand it and think it's okay or agree with it, but I can understand to an extent where they're coming from, and I have no choice but to respect it. But this leads to the good news. The good news is you guys know Chevy, my boyfriend. So his dad, in the beginning, when me and Chevy started dating, it was around Thanksgiving. And Chevy wanted to bring me to his family's Thanksgiving. And his father called him and said, no, 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 no. You're not going to bring that shit up here. I already know what it is. His dad has like 4 other young boys. So, Chevy's dad didn't want to have to explain to the kids, what I was. And so it was really sad. Like it was really fucking sad. Like I cried that day and we didn't go. I didn't want to show up somewhere where I wasn't welcomed or I was making someone uncomfortable. I just don't think that that's okay. You know, I don't want to intrude myself onto people. That's just not like what I'm about. I would much rather just kind of give people their space if they're not comfortable. But that was 3 years ago. And he actually was able to get his dad's number and talk to him last night. And his dad actually asked a lot of questions about HRT, about, because he knows I'm also getting surgery coming up too. And his dad is finally coming around. He's finally asking questions. He's finally saying, look, I'm not mad about you dating Jolene. Whoever you want to date, it's your business. And then his dad asks, but what size tits is she getting? And Chevy was like, the biggest kind they make in America. And he was like, damn, nice. So I'm making progress with my boyfriend's father, which I never thought in a million years would happen, ever. And that feels really fucking amazing. I'm not going to have any expectations of him. Maybe I never will come over for Thanksgiving. But just the fact that he's asking questions about us, he's asking questions about my surgery, about how the hormone replacement therapy works. if I'm ever going to have bottom surgery, all that stuff, it shows that he's opening up. And I never ever thought he would be that way. And so it's amazing. And Chevy's dad, I've been really upset with him like ever since he wouldn't let me come to Thanksgiving 3 years ago, but now I just feel so happy and so hopeful, and it really makes me feel good about myself, honestly, because I'm taking the steps I need, for me, and other people are also coming around, and that it just means a lot. Hey, Adam, welcome back. It's doing good today. I feel much better today, like every other day. It's different every day. But yeah, today's a good one. That's got to be really hard on you. Um, yeah, I've coped with it in different ways. Pretty much. All right, I'm going to tell you guys another personal quick story about my first boyfriend's father. So, and I really don't want to make this into something that it's not. I just want to share this story with you guys because it was pretty crazy. I was with a guy for 8 years. Um, After 5 years, he finally reconnected with his father who lived in another state. And he told his dad, about our life and about, how long we've been together and this, that, and the other. His dad wasn't happy about it. And 1 week later, his dad overdosed on pills and literally died on camera at his job. Literally showed him take the pills, OD, and die on the job. So the significance of fathers not liking me, my own father, my past boyfriend's fathers, my current boyfriend's father, yeah, it takes a toll. And Pickles is kind of like, no wonder I have daddy issues, right? It's kind of like I'm rejected from like every single father that comes into my life. So, I mean, I just wanted to point that out. So, yeah, for me, Larry, that is Chevy's dad's name. I don't know if he'll ever fully come around where I can come to his house or go out and have dinner with him. And I'm not going to get my hopes up, but just the fact that he's interested enough to ask questions and to say, like, hey, son, I'm not mad about you dating her anymore is life changing, honestly. You just went to Cabo, Adam? Lucky. How was it? Was it your first time in Cabo? I watch vlogs of vacation in Cabo all the time. It looks hella fun. Sometimes during the summer when I can't go anywhere, I watch stuff like that. Adam, where else have you been? I'm just curious. Do you travel a lot? Hold on. Have you ever been to like the coast or lived out there? Yeah, it's even worse out there. It's like it could be full blown like hurricane weather, like black skies, and then I promise you, 20 minutes later it was hot. The sun will be out. It's crazy. But yeah, you're all set. Check out Mountains Row, and we do have breakfast out here, 69th Road, and your room's on the second floor. That's the living room. I would take elevator there. No, you're good. Okay, so thank you. You're welcome. I love your outfit. Sorry, your outfit is really cute. Oh, thank you so much. You're welcome. Can you show me your counter? Guys, I think I'm just going to keep this nice, sweet, and short for today. Unless you guys have some other advice about how you cope with anything. I think I'm just going to keep everything nice, sweet, short, and to the point. What do you guys think? But yeah, for you guys just getting in, this is where This is where I'm at. This is our lobby, our kitchen area. This is our counter. Just in case you didn't know before. You don't? Yeah, dog, we're just out here doing the best we can, right? That's where the magic happens. Yeah. Can you tell me a bad word, please? Pickles. I'm gonna let you take that one if you would like. Teach him a bad word. And Pickles, while you're up here, I just wanted to know, how do you cope with stuff? Or are you self-destructive? Because I already know from Dog, I already know from Hugh, they pretty much answered my question. What about you, Pickles? What do you do? I mean, clearly you go through things too. I'm just curious, how do you cope with it? Pickles. I just try not to let things bother me too much because it's out of my control. I try to not let things bother me too much because it is out of my control. I like that. I had to repeat it twice because I really want to take in what you're saying. Whereas someone like me, I feel like everything can be controlled at times when I really should know better. Control is definitely an issue for me, but yeah, I'll take that. I'm gonna take that too. Cause yeah, it's like this slogan that I've used to get through this past year, Pickles, which is if you can do something about it, don't worry. And if you can't do something about it, don't worry. So either way, whether you can control something or not, there's no need to worry, you know? Because there's something you can do about it if you can control it. And if there's nothing you can do about it, you know, is that correct? If you tell me bad word, I give you 2 daughters. Oh my God. Okay. All right. The bad word is fuck. Fuck. Uh, fuck. Hi, Mike. Anita. Hello. Hello from America. Joe the kangaroo monkey. Hey, Joe. Thank you for telling me though, Pickles. I was curious. Hmm. This has been an interesting conversation. Finally trying to pull some stuff out of Pickles and dog, and you learned that from your therapist. Pickles, can I ask you something personal that I've never asked you before? How old are you? Because to me, you kind of come off as older than me because I feel like you're I feel like you're smart. Not kind of smart, but I feel like you're smart, kind of like you've kind of gone through all these motions before, which is really good. I know you're goofy and stuff, but I feel like underneath it all, I feel like you have a lot of wisdom, I feel like. And you might not share it because, you're just a goofy guy. But I just feel like you're pretty smart. And the fact that you're going to therapy is actually good. I don't go to therapy, but after my surgery, I'm going to have a full-time therapist because I just want to check on myself, and get better. But yeah, Pickles, please tell me if you're still up here. Just tell me. I want to know so bad how old you are. Your therapy was court ordered? Okay. Fucking stupid. Hold on. Yeah, just I would put no thanks for that part, and then just hit confirm twice, and your fingernails. Okay. You don't want to take one for later? It's free. You want chocolate chip or no? I was just kidding. The therapy was not court ordered. I like you. You're funny. You really are funny. So, Pickles, even though you might come across in messages as kind of being kind of crazy, it sounds like you actually take pretty good care of yourself. Interesting. Right, no, you're good. I know. I saw the picture. I don't know what any of that was, but it looked good. Thank you. I'll see you later. I do therapy work for people who need service dogs and have acquaintances who are therapists, and it does not do nothing for me. Why is it so hard to take your own advice? I wonder where that comes from. Hmm. Maybe you just need a different method. Maybe the method that you're able to do for other people just doesn't work for you. Maybe you kind of need like a different type of a way of going about it, maybe. But yeah, obviously you're really good with dogs. I wish you could teach me and Chevy how to do stuff like that. Hi, Jason. Ahmed. Fuck. That's the word. Fuck. Fuck. Shh. Shh. Fuck. Hey, Chevy. Some people just cannot be fixed. Well, I agree. I don't think it can be fixed with everybody completely, but I think it can get to a point where every day is enjoyable. But I get it, dog. There's some days where, like the other night, where I'm just not okay. I'm just not okay at all. And then there's other days where it's like nothing can bring me down. I think your country is GTA 5. Yeah, GTA 5. Yeah, that's here. That is here. Dog, maybe you just need friends. Maybe a different kind of therapy, or maybe you just need cooler friends. A good support system, maybe. My girlfriend says I can't be fixed. Hmm. Just curious, what is it about you, Pickles, that quote unquote needs to be fixed? Because, like I said, you're kind of elusive. You know, kind of like where me and Dog, we kind of like have everything literally like on our sleeve. I feel like you're a little more elusive. So, what is it about you that quote unquote can't be fixed? Or just, something having to do with that. But I teach kids and adults how to cope with service dogs, helping them to cope. Who is she, Pickles? Will I ever be able to talk to her? Hmm. Yeah, Dog, maybe. Maybe like the animal thing is something you're good at, but it's not something that works for you. Maybe you need maybe something more ritualistic, like a gatheration of a bunch of people like-minded. I don't know, having a giant bonfire under like a huge statue of like an owl or something, and just kind of letting go of everyday, worries. Maybe you need more of a community instead of like a one-on-one kind of therapy. Let's talk about your problems. Maybe you just need something bigger than that. Maybe you need something that is more, I don't want to say tribal, but more, I feel like in our country specifically, other than church, we don't really have stuff like that anymore, where people just kind of come together for one large reason and the whole purpose of it is just letting go. I feel like stuff like that doesn't get done as much anymore as far as having support from a large group of people all at once on a weekly basis. Dog is a dog person. She likes animals more than people. I get it. I don't do religion. Yeah, I don't either, at least not in really the traditional sense, but I kind of do, but it's more of like a personal thing. It is something I will use to bridge the gap between me and somebody else, though. Any way I can connect with someone that's genuine, I will get into that with people. But in general, I don't have like a steady, practice, I would say. You want to be girlfriend? No, thank you. No, thank you. But yeah, let me check the polls again. So out of 30 people that voted, exactly half of them said they do have self-destructive tendencies. 33% said no, and 17% said very rarely. So about 70% of people that have come through here have admitted that they have self-destructive tendencies. I guess some are just more extreme than the others. It's interesting. I just want to get to know you guys and how your brain works a little bit, because you guys get to see me like on a screen. You get to see my body language. You get to see every moment I'm thinking about something. So I feel like it might be easier for you guys to kind of see how I am. And I kind of want the same with you guys. Like, I want to be able to know how you guys think. Pickles, I'm just going to guess in my mind. I feel like your wittiness is that of a, like a 26-year-old. But because of how calculated and smart I view you as, I'm going to say, Pickles, that you are in your late 30s. That's just a guess. I feel like you have the humor of a young man, but I feel like I feel like you're kind of up there with Dog. I feel like you guys have a lot of, it just seems to me like you have a lot of experience, or you're kind of at that next level, a little bit above maybe where I'm at in my life yet. But that's just a guess. I could be wrong. Yeah, you do, Pickles. And yes, GTA 5 is in this country. But yeah, Pickles, you do. You, Dog, Hugh, R's in here a lot, but it's really, I see you guys every day, you know? Almost every day. So yeah, you don't have to pay rent. It's free. It's free for you guys. And I guess maybe not now, but one day. Bye, Med. Have a nice day, friend. Go play some GTA. Travel Pass, BNC. Hey, Travel. Well, guys, I don't know if I'm going to get up here again tonight, but I think I'm just going to take it easy tonight and get back to work. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm doing really good today, actually. Like I said, everything that happened last night with my boyfriend's dad really helped me a lot. Kind of reminded me I don't have to always worry that I'm not wanted, or, you know, it just gives me hope. Thank you, Travel. What were you crying about the other day? So basically, it was this. Um, I had a I had a guest that has been here for months, and she noticed something that was very alarming to her, and she spoke out about it and basically told me that she doesn't know what I'm going through, but basically, like, she has my back, and she came and gave me a hug. And so she kind of released a lot of what I hold in. Dog was talking about how I mask a lot, and I do. I mask a lot. I could be going through something really, really detrimental, but I try to just cover it up. And so when someone pulls it out of me, you basically break down my wall. You know, you literally, she reached and took off my mask. The mask that I'm always wearing, the happy, kind, sweet, like, mask that is just me. Sometimes I'm just trying my best. And she kind of stopped everything and said, hey, you don't have to do that right now. You're free to open up and to be upset and to be negative. So she kind of just came in and just ripped my mask off. And when people do that, it makes me, it releases my emotion. And so the floodgates just came, that somebody was checking on me, basically. But if you want to ask the specific reason I was crying, it's a lot of different things. The stress of the past year of my life, saving up for, basically a $10,000 surgery on top of, paying bills and stuff like that. Um, the fact that I don't have a lot of clothes because I save all my money for surgery. Um, we don't really buy anything for, I don't go anywhere. Um, so, some of it is stress from just, saving, which everyone knows who's ever saved. It's not easy. It's definitely not easy to save. And then just, the things going on with my family, the fact that literally my dad is dying pretty much and doesn't want anything to do with me. My grandfather has stage 4 lung cancer. And then there's just a lot of, you know, there's a lot of things that go on. There's a lot of things that go on in my mind. I thought your boyfriend was pissed at you for being live every day. That was my assumption. No, that's not it. He's supportive of the live streaming thing. I guess in particular that day though, just like how I'm kind of struggling to tell you right now exactly pinpoint what was wrong with me. It's like that, with my boyfriend too. Sometimes I'm upset and he wants to help, but I don't know what to tell him because I don't know specifically what it is that's the problem. It's kind of everything, you know? So there's really nothing anyone can do because it's not just one thing I'm trying to fix. It's just the constant stress of life. It's a lot of different things. What type of surgery? Breast augmentation. I have a specialist in Charlotte, which is 4 hours away. I love her work. She's very good at what she does, and she specializes specifically in what I want, and she's giving me exactly what I want. So, yeah, I've spent about 9 months constantly saving up, and I'm basically getting closer and closer to the finish line. So the actual surgery should be taking place in mid-August. And it's like I'm so close, but I can't stop or slow down at all. That's another thing that I constantly have on me. It's like I'm so close, I'm almost done, but I can't slow down at all. In fact, I kind of have to push even harder. And so waking up every day and knowing that and thinking that, it's a lot. Thank you. But no, my boyfriend is very supportive of my live streaming. When we met, I was actually doing live already. I've been doing live on one app or another for a very long time. So he's actually very supportive of it. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure it can be frustrating for my boyfriend when he'll do anything to make me feel better. And sometimes when you're willing to do everything to help somebody, but you just don't know how to help them, that is very frustrating on his part, is my assumption. And, he deals with it very well, you know, very well. He does the best he can, you know, but there's only so much you can do with me.
I don't know if this was somebody's room or if they didn't finish cleaning this one, but the bed was like, it was kind of covers like in the middle of the bed. I don't know if it just went in there. I took a picture of it. Yeah. What number are you right now? 57. Because I didn't really take nothing else.
Fix whatever they were fixing. And it's just one dentist, right? Yeah, just check out that one. If you like that one, just stay with that one. Don't worry about that. I'm from North Carolina. But anyways, I just want to let you guys know, everyone that's in here, primarily, to newcomers, this is to you guys too, but to the guys that come in here every single day, I really appreciate you guys, and it really benefits me being up here, and I hope you guys get something out of it too, you know? Um, but yeah, you guys do live rent free in my head, and I really appreciate it. I was in Charleston, South Carolina for 6 months, one time for work. Welcome back, Brayden. See, Pickles, that's why I think you're God, I love assuming. So yeah, that means if you were here for work, you were in South Carolina for 6 months, that was probably because you guys were building something large. So maybe you're like, hmm, if you travel for work and you're gone for 6 months, that's usually because something's under construction. So maybe you do like carpentry. I'm just trying to figure it out because you're not gonna make it easy and tell me. So I just have to assume. I couldn't see you being in the medical field and being a traveling nurse or something for 6 months. So I feel like if you're traveling for work for something 6 months, it's got to be something with like power lines or building something, I'm thinking. Your back wall looks like State Farm. Yeah, I never noticed that. But yeah, I can see that. Good night, Brayden. So Pickles, are you gonna make it easy on me and tell me what you do for work? I know what Hugh does. He's on leave right now because his ankle is broken. I know Dog does like therapy and stuff like that. So I wonder what you do. But you're probably not gonna tell me. It'll probably take me months and months to get more info out of you, which is fine. You sell robotic welding equipment. See, I knew you had to be smart. So that means you're in your late 30s, early 40s, right? Right? And I don't care. This is the vibe I get, I guess. Because I just feel like I just feel like you take care of yourself, and most people don't start taking care of themselves until they're like 30 or like midway through their 30s. I feel like is when people start doing things such as traveling for 6 months or going to therapy, for example. I'm just guessing. I just want to know. I'm so nosy. I just want to know. But if I have to wait, it's okay. What is this place? It's like a bed and breakfast. Where is my water? My energy drink. I mean, my protein shake, actually. I have to make sure I have enough vitamins so I don't get scurvy. So this is not the booty hotel. How do you remember? How do you remember that this is the booty hotel? How did you know that? Do you remember from last time? No, we no longer have the booty rooms. I stopped selling to people for the booty rooms. We had to stop doing that. It was too much going on up here. We have all type of people coming through here day in, day and night. All it's too much. It's too much. I don't understand what work you do. In short, I I sell people places to stay and just kind of create a welcoming environment. No, not a bakery. I do bake cookies, but we don't bake food to like feed people. It's more or less to like make them feel welcomed and comfortable. And if they are hungry, we got you. All right, guys, I'm gonna get off here finally. I might go live later. I'm not gonna promise anything though. I don't want to make any promises that I cannot keep. So I may come on later. You could sell me easily, that's for sure. That's kind of the idea. That's kind of the idea. You know, butter you up a little bit and yeah, make you keep coming back. That's kind of the idea. So, bye you guys. I will might see you guys later tonight, but we'll just have to see. But thank y'all for coming. Really, you guys are a highlight of my day every day. So, thank you for coming in and talking with me and sharing yourselves with me. I really enjoy it. And I hope to see you guys again soon. So, bye. Bye, guys. I'll see you later.